Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia, and I'm coming to you from the UK. Today is Friday, the 25th of October 2024. I'm so glad you're joining me today to talk about some knitting. If you're here for the first time, then welcome. Like I said, my name is Julia. I've been living here in the UK with my husband and son for about 4 years, which is crazy. We just had our 4-year anniversary in the UK. Originally from Germany, and I love to knit mostly, but I also spin, I crochet, I am dabbling in embroidery, but yeah, anything yarny is my preference. So yeah, let's talk about some project. As per usual, I try to keep project pages on Ravelry. Sometimes I don't, in which case just pop a comment and I will try to answer whatever your question is, but I try to put stuff in my projects, so hopefully you'll be able to find any sort of issues and questions and yarns and needle sizes there. All right, let's talk about some finished objects because we have 3 this week, which is very exciting. Number 1 is my Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague. I think everyone has seen this pattern by now. It's just a really fun hat pattern, which, excuse the messed up, still slightly wet hair. It's basically a double knit hat. So you make a long tube and you fold it inside, and then you get a double hat that you can fold up the brim. I've made a couple of these, and I think this one is my most successful one. I think in the past I sometimes used either the wrong gauge in terms of, you can use all kinds of different gauges for this pattern, but I think my first couple of ones, they were just too stiff in terms of the fabric that I created. Whereas this one I really like. Where is my voice going? I don't know. You can fold it up if you're more like a beanie person. I made the adult size large. In hindsight, maybe I could have gotten away with the medium. But in the past, I have made one that was too tight. So I think I decided to play it safe with this one. And honestly, it's just such a relaxed hat. Like, I haven't even vlogged this. I just threw it on when going into London for work on Tuesday. And it's just perfect. Like, it's light. I made mine with fingering weight. So it's sort of a light hat, but it's really cozy. And I really, really like it. The yarn that I used was from Dina's Home of Crafts, so Dina's House of Crafts. She's a dyer here in the UK. I don't know the colorway, I'm sorry. I got it at the Knitting and Stitching show last year. And I used less than 1 skein, and I used 3.25 millimeter needles. Should I just leave it on? Let's just leave it on. I also finished some socks. So first off, I finished my son's little socks. They're not that little, actually. I haven't told him I finished these because otherwise they would be on his feet. But I talked about these last week. He fell in love with the yarn that I was going to use to make socks for myself. This is Whip Yarns, who are in the US. I don't know the colorway. I want to say something Nebula Galaxy. Something along those lines. I got this from a friend years and years and years ago. And it's sparkly, so my son fell in love with it. So I made him some socks. I did 52 stitches for a EU size 28 to 29. And these seemed huge to me all the time when I was knitting these. I was like, those can't possibly fit my little son's feet, but they fit him perfectly. Like, I just think he's so tiny, but he really isn't. So yeah, plain vanilla socks. I did a shadow wrap heel as I usually do. And these took 30 grams of yarn, which means I have enough to make myself a pair of matching socks if I want to. I'm not sure if I can knit and face knitting another pair of socks out of the same yarn immediately. So it's gone up back into stash for now, but yeah, plenty of leftovers if we wanted to have matching socks. So those are my son's socks, and then I also finished these. So I didn't finish the ones that I cast on in September. I did knit like 3 rows on them this morning when we were out having breakfast, but no, I finished these ones, which I only cast on about 10 days ago, 8 days ago. And these are socks for me, of course. Using yarn from Fab Funky Fibers, who is quickly becoming my favorite indie dyer, self-strapping indie dyer in the UK. And what I do is I buy her 50-gram skeins of self-strapping, and then if I use a contrasting color, I can easily make myself a pair of socks. And I have quite large feet. I have EU size 42-ish. So yeah, I finished these. These are the colorway Margie's sweater, Margie's jumper, Margie's, I always forget. Margie's something. You will find it in her shop if you're looking for it. And I think they're really pretty. I used this Filcolana Aweta for the calves and heels. And this is quickly becoming my favorite yarn in terms of like contrasting colors for socks. Like, I just love the feel of it. It comes in a million colors, and yeah, I think in this case it has worked out really, really well. I only noticed when I was knitting my second sock, which was this one, that because I made the stripes to match, but look what happens. So I noticed this one, the first one, has an odd, really thin stripe of the orange, which I thought was hilarious. I did let the dyer know, not because I mind, because these are for me, I don't care, I'm not particularly fussy about these things. But I just thought I would let her know in case this happened to other skeins and she might run into issues. I mean, who knows? I don't know how like self-strapping yarn really works. I know it roughly, but not in detail. And she was so kind. I think her name is Elaine. And she immediately apologized and offered to send me another skein of yarn. And I was like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. But she insisted. So I was very impressed by that. And yeah, I mean, I think the amounts of times I show Fab Funky Fiber yarn in my podcast shows you how much I enjoy making these. Like, somehow, I don't know what it is about the base as well, but I just really like them, and I am not sponsored. No one is giving me anything to say this, but yeah, I just really, really enjoy these self-strapping socks, and by being able to buy 50-gram skeins, it does make it much more affordable. So yeah, those are my socks, and that makes 3 finished objects for this week. I think because my life has been a bit messy, I've just had this urge to finish things. Like, I just want to have less on my knitting plate. And as an effort, nowhere near finish, but as an effort to at least get moving on things, I actually have split for the sleeves on my Rebel cardigan. I mean, I have literally just split for my sleeves, but I have done it. So this is the Rebel cardigan by Anke Strick, who is a German designer. I've talked about this pattern many times, so I won't go into detail. If you've been watching, you'll know that I love it. It's really, really clever, like the way it works. And now that I've split for the sleeves, this is so simple to knit. Because up until now, like, the pattern is really great. There's lots of illustrations to sort of show you what you are working on, where you are increasing in which section. Like, I thought it was written really well, but I did have to keep referring back to the pattern, and especially because I wasn't working on this all the time, I think that held me up a bit. Whereas now I've split for the sleeves, and I just need to knit straight down, knit some sleeves. So now it is almost like a plain vanilla knit, which I'm very excited about. As you can see, the fronts are knit in 1x1 rib, and it's an open fronted cardigan. I won't do any buttonholes. And then the back and the sleeves are just in stockinette, and you can add some shaping. So I might or I might not. I'll see how I feel. And the good thing is now I can try it on as well and see how it fits. And yeah. So I think what I might do is, I'm still on my first ball of yarn, and this is the Studio Donegal Darney in the red colorway. Not sure what it's called. I have 3 skeins of this at least. Possibly I have 4, I'm not quite sure. But this is the first one. I have enough yarn, which is the main thing. And what I might do is after I'll just keep knitting until I finish this ball, and I'm tempted to do at least one, if not both sleeves. Because then once I finish the body, I'll just be done. Like there is no finishing, there is no picking up stitches. There's nothing fussy from here on out. And yeah, I'm quite excited about this. So I might actually make this my Formula 1 knitting project for the weekend. And yeah, all the complicated bits are now done. And isn't it just beautiful? I just love it. It very much doesn't match my hat. In fact, it is annoying me how much it is not matching, but it's just such a beautiful color. And I plan to wear this to the office and just wear it everywhere. I just won't take it off. I have a fleece jacket that I wear a lot. That's in a similar color, a bit more rusty, but also that kind of vibe. And I wear that all the time, so I have a feeling this will be the same. So yeah, that is my Rebel cardigan. And the last work in progress that I show you today, before I do show you some knitting plans, is my Stephen West mystery knit along. So if you do not want to see any spoilers of clues 1 to 4, please do skip ahead or come back another episode, because I will show my shawl. Should I show my yarn first? So the yarn that I'm using is Cascade 220 fingering non-superwash in Ember something and Doeskin Heather, I think. On my Ravelry page you will find the details. Funnily enough, I am now into clue 4, and this is I've still used less than 100 grams of my contrast color. This is my third 50 gram skein of my main color, so I've used more of this, which makes sense because I did replace the contrast color with mohair for a couple of sections. But yeah, here we are. I'm also throwing in random bits of mohair. So let me try to show it to you this time without dropping all of my stitches, because that was a mess last time. So just bear with me a second. There's about 15 million strands of yarn hanging off here, which is weird because I wove in all of my ends. I finished my clue 3 on Tuesday night, I believe. And then on Wednesday, I went and actually wove in all of my ends, snipped them off, which I must have been ill or something because that doesn't happen. But yeah, let's try and show it to you. So at the bottom, you can see clue 3, which is these like scalloped edge, which I still think is really, really pretty. It was a bit of a pain to knit. Not massively so, just slightly annoying because it was a long stretch to make these in short rows. Clue 1, clue 2, you can see I did some mohair, and I have started clue 4. And this is what it looks like. So basically now we're working upwards, inwards to fill in like the little circle that's missing. And how good does it look? I mean, I'm just looking at it on screen and it looks even better than in person. Yeah, I love it. For these mini bubble sections, I followed Stephen's advice, who said you can hold, if you have a mohair that sort of matches with your contrast color, hold it together, which I have done. So this is some Turkish mohair, I believe. I think is it gazelle? But I had a ball left over after a failed project last Christmas. So I threw that in here. It's very subtle. You can't really see it, but I just like the texture that it adds. And then last night I finished the first slip stitch section, which I think looks so cool. Like I love it. And the good thing is that now the rows are getting shorter. So I'm actually, I think, one more row away from a massive decrease row. And then I think the rest should go quite quickly, because you can see, even though I'm decreasing, it is still quite long and quite large. But I think after that decrease row, it'll start to go much quicker. Yeah, so that is the beginning of clue 4. And you know what? I love it so much. I think this is my favorite MKal shawl that I've ever seen Stephen design. Again, not getting paid to say this. I just think it is so stunning. Yeah, look at all those textures, and I love it. Very, very happy with this. If you have seen Glue 4, you will know that there is an optional border to attach to this border. And it looks really, really beautiful. And I'm tempted to do it and just throw in all the mohair and just go a bit crazy. But also, it is a ridiculous amount of knitting. And I'm not ready if I can face it, because I want to knit other things. And also, I have enough yarn, but also I want this to be wearable, and I'm wondering how it will already be a large shawl, as you can see. And I don't want it to become so big that I find it difficult to maneuver. And like, I want to wear this everywhere. I wanted to wear this to the office. And if it feels like I'm just wearing a blanket, it's going to be too big. I mean, just look at it. I wish I could make this my thumbnail, but I can't because it's a spoiler. But how pretty is it? So yeah, long story short, I don't know if I'm going to do the optional border. Part of me wants to, especially the competitive part of me. I just want to do it all and finish it all and push through. But it also looks really nice like this. So I haven't decided. We will see. We'll see how I feel about finishing all of this. But that is my MKal 2024. And I should mention I am using 3.25mm needles. I tend to go down a needle size when I use Stephen West patterns because A, I'm a loose knitter, and B, he often uses like garter stitch and stuff, which I just like a garter stitch on a tighter gauge. Plus his shawls are always ginormous anyways, as you can tell. So I like to go down a couple of needle sizes even sometimes. So yeah, that is it. If you did look away for the MKal, you can now look back. The only thing I have to show you is a knitting plan, because I was in no way intending to buy yarn, but I was scrolling Instagram as you do, and I came across a pattern that just like clicked. And this is a sadness pattern, and I've never knit a sadness pattern before. And this is the Clever ladies sweater. Sorry, I should have looked up how to pronounce this correctly in what I assume is Norwegian. But let's just call it Clever or Kleiva. Kleiva ladies sweater. It's number 241004. And I saw this and I fell in love. They have this as they have like a women's version, a men's version, and a kids version, I believe, all of which are stunning. And it took me a while to figure out the yarn requirements. I thought their website wasn't entirely clear, but apparently, because I thought you need a sadness Peer Gynt held with some alpaca yarn, but it's either or. So either you use sadness Peer Gynt, which is what I'm using, tin Peer Gynt, the fingering weight version, or you use their alpaca yarn. So I don't think the alpaca yarn is even available in the UK, and also I love sadness tin Peer Gynt. So that's what I went with, and I got these two colors, which they are the original colors of the men's version. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend you look it up because it is beautiful. But essentially they make this sweater for men in these colors, but they flip them around. I'm not going to flip mine, so what's white here will be cream with tweedy flecks in mine, and then the orange bits will just be in this color, which is Bristol Grey, I believe. So these are both sadness. There you go, tin Peer Gynt. It's like the most beautiful woolly Norwegian wool, and it's really fine, which I like. So this one is Bristol Grey, which is Bristol Black. It's colorway 3800. And this one is one of the tweedy one. It's called 2523. And like I said, I just stole these colors off the men's sweater sample because they looked beautiful together. And they look beautiful in real life as well. So I'm going to have another monochrome Colourwork sweater, except this one has like a 27 stitch gauge. So this one is going to be a labor of love. And let's see. Where is the gauge? It doesn't even tell me. It does somewhere. 27 stitches and 33 rounds for 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And I was quite impressed. I mean, this is a Norwegian pattern. I think German patterns used to be the same, and I don't mind them. They don't give you very much information. So without giving anything away, basically this is just like random info, like gauge and colors and da-da-da, and like a rough idea. And then this is the pattern. And then you get a chart, which I hope I haven't lost that yet. No, it's in here, I think. Yes. No, it isn't. Ooh. I need to find the chart because there was a chart in here and it is not here anymore, because that would get me in trouble. But yeah, you don't get very much information, which is fine. The only thing is I assumed, you can see it's like a raglan, but I assumed you just stick the collar. Oh, my neighbor's walking by. I assumed you would just stick the collar. But no, you actually knit a fair bit flat in the front. So you have a fair bit of color work knit flat until you join it in the round, which is fine. It just makes it a bit more fiddly. Like, I need some headspace to do this, and as I really want to start this right away, I think I want to finish something first. Is it going to be any of my sweaters? Probably no, but at least I should finish my MKal maybe and then do this. Because I do want to do this right away. I don't want this to sit in stash for months. But yeah, it's a bit of a commitment. We will see, but it looks really fun. I think the color work will be really fun as well. It's very easy color work once you get past this flat bit, which I can do color work flat. It's not the end of the world. It is just slightly annoying. And you know what? Talking about this makes me realize I forgot to show you another whip. So let's just show you that really quickly. I don't know how I forgot about that. Last week I showed you my doodle cowl, which is a cowl using the Stranded Colourwork book and charts from Pacific Knit Co. And I think I completely forgot to show this to you this week. I was down here when I last showed it to you, and I have just continued working in the round, doing a couple of charts. And yeah, why did I forget to show this to you? I don't know. But I haven't worked on this massively, but it is worth showing, and isn't it just so fun? I think this chart I stole from the Alternate Stitch book. Is it Alternate Universe? They have a chart book with different color worked patterns as well. So I've basically just been using both books and picking my favorite charts and just picking random bits of this yarn that I still had in stash from a blanket that turned into a pillow. And isn't that fun? It's a bit like Halloweeny, like the pinks and a bit of orange. And yeah, I like it. Is it going to be a double wrap cowl? I'm not sure. It might just be a single wrap, but I think it's really, really fun. And for this, I am using Filcolana Pernia in a mishmash of colors, but my main color is this gray, which is 956. And then, as you can tell, I'm just holding random bowls and part bowls of the same yarn in different colors to make the color work. So yeah, that should get its little spot as well. Yeah, so those are my whips, my FOs, my knitting plans, and some more whips. And I should probably also tell you what I am wearing, because I finally dug out my winter sweaters. I have whatever I'm not using, I store it in vacuum bags just to A, keep it safe, and B, to save on storage space, because our house is not huge. It is big for UK standards, like normal, but it's not very big compared to, like, I don't know, at least German standards. So I finally the other day put away like all my summer tops. Not that I have that many, but the ones that I have, and a couple of sort of cropped sweaters that I tend to wear more in warmer weather. And I got out my winter garments. In fact, I actually got rid of two that were just way beyond wearing because they were just so bubbly and just not nice anymore. And this is the Saltburn sweater by Sophie of the Knit Pearl Girl. I test knit this for her last year, probably around this time of year actually. I think the deadline was maybe it was just before Christmas. And yeah, I think it's really pretty. The reason I don't wear it enough is because I made it too short, and I really don't want to go back and make it longer. I could, but I just don't want to. I even thought about donating it, which is horrible because it's pretty, and I did put it on. I was like, no, I have to keep it, but I still don't want to make it longer. But so today I'm just wearing it with like a high waist skirt, and it actually looks quite cute. So I made this using 2 strands of Holzgarn, or you can see my stripy top underneath. 2 strands of Holzgarn held double, and I made this on quite a loose gauge. So I have used Holz double before, but this was the first time I made it on like a looser gauge, and the fabric it created is really, really nice. Like, I'm quite impressed. I think I prefer this to my other, like a Strange sweater that I made with Holzgarn held double, but at a much tighter gauge. And with washing and wearing, this has become so soft. And sometimes I feel like Holz super soft, like it stays a bit crunchy despite everything that I do. But maybe it depends on the colors as well, but this one is really comfortable and I actually do really like it. And the big yoke, it works for me. I really like it. So that is what I am wearing today. Alright, I have talked for 26 minutes, which is quite long for me. My voice is definitely going and I need to make the most of today because it's the last day before half term. It's my last day off before half term. And yeah, it's gonna be a busy one. My sister is arriving Saturday night, which is great because she will be our childcare while we still have to work next week. But we also have a fair bit of stuff planned, some fun stuff, some like embassy stuff, like all kinds of stuff. But it'll be a busy one, so I should take advantage of the quiet house because it won't be quiet for about 10 days. But I'm looking forward to it. It does mean that I'm not sure if I will be recording a podcast next week. It just sort of depends on how things go. But yeah, we will see. It might be 2 weeks until I see you guys again. But if it is, hopefully I should have a finished MKal shawl and who knows what else to show you. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast today. I hope that wherever you are in the world that you are safe and healthy and happy and have some yarn to play with. Let me know what you are working on and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye!